Welcome to this recap on Illustrator. So for some of you, you've not used Illustrator for a long time. For those of you that are starting with branding for your Upper 6 project, I'm just going to go through some features that might help you in Illustrator. Now remember, Illustrator is designed for vector work, so anything like a brand, an identifier, anything like that that you're putting together, ideally you should be making this in Illustrator. Please don't make any symbols, logos, identifiers in Photoshop, because that's really bad practice. Illustrator is meant for vector work. So again, this is just a really quick recap on how to use Illustrator. So really simple, create new. There are features that are very similar to Photoshop, but let's start with the basics. So we're just going to create an A4 portrait. Again, all the advanced settings are down here, so your color modes, your pixels per inch, etc. Prep everything ready for print. That would be like my advice, my tip for this stage. It's always better to have a higher resolution, than it is a lower one. So let's create that. So we're going to start with the basics. So let's add text boxes. So to click here, click on the text box tool. And we're just going to draw here. And I'm just going to look at creating an identifier for a company called Icon. So let's just put Icon. And here you can change your typefaces up here at the top. So again, here's your typefaces, here are the fonts, and here are the sizes as well. So you can change the size. Now, you'll notice that the type tool isn't on the top bar like it is in Photoshop. And to get that, you just need to go to Window and you need to go to Type down here. So there's different variations. We're just going to look at the characters for now. So if it is that your type tool isn't on the sidebar here, just make sure you go to Window and click Type. So here you've got the additional options as well, so you've got additional things that you can do down here. But the main one is the tracking, the kerning, and obviously in some cases the leading. So I'm just going to reduce the tracking, so remember that is the space between the letters, and also adjust the kerning if that is required as well. So I'm just going to move that in. In terms of paragraph, you can center it as well. So when you're developing an identifier, the first thing that I would probably look at is exploring different typefaces. So that's what I'm going to do here. So Command C and Command F. Now Command F is a pasting option, so similar to that of V, but what it does is it pastes it directly on top. And then just using your arrow tools, you can move that down. So let's have a look at other typefaces. I kind of like this one called Punk, bold, very nice indeed. So I'm going to, again, Command C, Command F, and let's have a look at another here. Let's look at Dolce Vita. It's a beautiful font, this one. But you can see that I just need to adjust that tracking ever so slightly. Move that out. So that's what you're going to do to start off with, explore all these different typefaces. Now, some of you may wish to make individual changes to the letters separately. And to do that, we have to rasterize it, similar to that you would do in Photoshop. So if I just zoom into this, and to rasterize, the shortcut on the keyboard is Shift, Command, and O. And that rasterizes it. If it is that you want to go sort of the long way, you can click on the expand tool and expand the object. Okay, but I always like the keyboard shortcuts. So Shift, Command, and O. And what that allows us to do is edit this individually. So what I mean by that is editing the different anchor points. So say, for instance, you wanted this part of the letter I to be a bit chunkier. You can actually go to the direct selection tool here, and you can highlight those anchor points to change them if you want to. So let's zoom in. There we go. So just using your Shift key to highlight them both. Same here. Okay, if I zoom out, you can then, using your arrow tools, you can move parts of the logo out. So you can play around with that. You can also move the I across, and if you wanted to, you could say expand the C. Oh no, no one wants to do that, looks awful. You can move the C. We can make the O even bigger if you want to. So you can see, like in Illustrator, there are lots of additional features when you use the expanding option, the rasterizing option, and then using the direct selection tool. And another thing that you may want to do is add shapes. So here you could add like a circle if you wanted to, and place your logo inside of that. So you might want to do something along these lines. Let's move that into the center and then change the color of it. There we go. Now you can see at the minute this circle is in front of that icon logo that I've just made. Best way to do this is you can go to Object, you can go to Arrange, and then you can send that to the back. Yep. Another great feature as well is the alignment tool. So if you highlight these samples that I've made, you can click here and you can align. So if you wanted to put that in the center. Another good feature as well is that you can type on a path. So really easy to do. Again, just click on the shape tool. Let's draw a shape. I want to make it transparent, so again, similar to that of Photoshop, you can just add the transparency. And then if you go to your type tool and hold the mouse down, there's a feature here called Type on Path. So if you click then on that path, it'll allow you to type on a path. It's really nice. So let's put my brand name, rubbish name, but we get the gist. So you highlight that there. Let's have a look at the different typefaces. Let's look at Formula Condensed. It's a really nice font, this one. I'm going to go bold though. Here you can change again the size. But what's great with this is, especially if you're working like with a circle or anything like that, you'll want to really open that tracking up. So let's type in, see what it looks like at 2000. Oh, maybe a bit small, maybe a bit too big that. So go 1500, and you can see you can like type on a path, and if you wanted to, you can have a section of that inside. You know, play around with it, play around with this idea of the logo with those shapes. And remember, the anchor points really do allow you to make different subtle changes to your identifier or your logos, etc. There's a lot of options within Illustrator, and really, if you are doing branding, you should be doing it in Illustrator. So hopefully this will help. I'll add some more videos later on this month, which give you a few more advanced things that you can work on.